Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I hope everybody is having a great Wednesday. I know I took a break yesterday. And if you're in here, please hit that like, share, and subscribe. Hey, Rainy, how are you, honey? Please hit that like, share, and subscribe. Listen, when you are on an upward trajectory in your life, whether it's corporate world, education, things of that nature, entrepreneurship, it's going to try you. And it's important that you have rest days and reset days, and listen to your body when you're tired. Because when you try to run, it does nothing for you. Um, it is not going to make whatever you're trying to achieve happen faster. It's not going to make your progress speed up, none of that stuff, because a tired you is also making bad decisions, judgment calls. You don't have clarity, and then your body just starts to do whatever. So I have said to myself, I was going to pride myself on listening to my body. So when I'm tired, I take those mental rest days. We all need them, and it is important, even with our children. It is important. Hey, Sean. Hey, Boo. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Also, guys, I will be putting out. I am building a mini law library for myself. So I am going to do an Amazon list of books that I want. And either you can contribute through either sending a cash app, a super chat, or by purchasing one of the books. Hey, Miss Vegas. Okay. Purchasing one of those books on there. I am trying to build up. Hey, Ghetto View. I am trying to build up a law library for myself. That's what I'm trying to do. Because the closer I get to these things, the more I need to immerse myself, or submerge myself, shall I say, in a lot of this stuff. But I hope you guys are having a good Wednesday. Happy hump day. We're almost to the weekend. Okay. I missed you guys. I almost came live yesterday, but one of my good sisters that's in the clouds told me, take a rest day. It's okay to rest. It's okay to rest. And they're right, because you know what? The news cycle is going to always be here, right? So let's jump right into it. So yesterday was midterm primaries for a lot of states. Hey, OG Beauty, for a lot of states yesterday, a lot of them. Let's do a high level overview. We will be watching a lot of videos and things, clips today. That's what we will be doing. So we know gas prices are still high. We know groceries are still expensive. We know that your insurance is still expensive. Good morning, self-made hustler. We know all of these things are still expensive, right? We're aware of that. That's not going to change. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Williams. We know that none of that stuff is going to change. That's where we are. Too doggone high. Be careful about your electricity bill over the summertime as these temperature rises. Figure out ways to keep your house cool without overworking and running your AC, because folks' energy bills are going to start going up extremely expensive too. Now, there was a memo sent out from AutoZone. There was a memo sent out with AutoZone that stated there is a shortage. Let me pull it up for you. So, memo about shortage. There is a shortage of oil right now. Okay. There's a shortage of oil right now. And it's getting really real, guys. Like, it is getting really real. Hey, boo. It is getting really real. So if you have a vehicle, when you now go to get your oil and filter change, you probably are going to see and this was actually leaked. We weren't supposed to see this, but it was actually leaked. I'm going to try to make this as big as possible. But what we're seeing here is saying pending store-wide training team. When speaking about unusual or historic supply chain disruptions, it's common for those of us who have been in the business for a moment to reference situations from decades ago. But the truth is, if you've been with us for even a year, you've already worked through one major supplier and related rebranding. Okay, they're talking about COVID. It's also talking about in the coming weeks, we'll be providing full training sessions on our in development motor oil and specialty fluid substitution recommendation systems. Okay, because we are running out of oil. Okay, they're talking about 15W40. Okay. They're 5W20. Okay. 0W16. They're talking about substitutes for the very oil. They're stating there is a 40% drop of this oil. What does that mean for you? If you drive a car that has maintenance, you are going to start to see even your oil change prices go up. You're even going to also see, say if you're getting a tune-up, say you're getting your fluids flushed, brake pads, all of these different things, we are going to start to see the price get hiked by this, because a lot of people don't understand when diesel oil, crude oil, and all of those things have a disruption in the flow, and meaning in the stock that we have, it disrupts everything else. And what we are witnessing right now is a global crisis. They don't want to call it that, but I'm going to keep it funky with you guys. It is a global crisis we are seeing. Go ahead, get your Costco, get your Sam's card. You better start buying stuff in bulk, because remember during COVID how folks were fighting for paper towels and things like that. Please don't be one of them people on TikTok. Please don't. Please do not be one of them people on TikTok, because I'm act like I don't know you. Or maybe I put you up here on the big screen and say what you doing over there on TikTok. But yes, be mindful of this that is going on. Just get ready. We are starting to see in some places where now, because of the cost of oil is going up, gasoline is going up, companies are now allowing their employees, correct, a lot of things are made off of petroleum. A lot of companies now are allowing their employees to go back home and work. Even some school systems are decreasing the number of days that you have to bring your children in. Some of them are on 4-day weeks, some of them are on 3-day weeks, and 2 days they, are hybrid, because it is costing people so much money to just merely move their car even a few miles now. People are not making it to work because they don't have enough gas. This is part of it. Get smart. We're already starting to see the quality of foods go down and produce go down. Be aware. Don't be scared. Be prepared. Okay. I just want you to be prepared. So last night in Georgia, we had some races in Georgia. We know that Keisha Lance Bottoms, and this is where I think the Republican Party is going to see that they are not winning, because there was no runoffs anywhere for the Democratic Party. Anywhere. There were no runoffs anywhere. The voting turnout for the Democratic Party versus the Republican primaries, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. They are coming out in droves. I'm talking, we're seeing an influx of 50, 60,000 people voting. And that's an influx of what numbers have previously been. Louisiana, them folks are in trouble down there, because y'all done went and woke up the beast. There are long lines of a petition to remove most of their politicians, they need 800,000 signatures. I have been watching on social media where the lines, they have designated places, and these lines are blocks long. People are tired. People are sick and tired. And there are people that are going to be voting blue that have never voted blue before because they need some type of stopgap from this man in office who is literally taking our own money. He robbing us right now. We get it's a stick up every day from this administration. It really, really is. And if you don't open your eyes to see it, I don't know what to say. So let's start with this $1.7 billion slush fund for January Sixers. But before good morning, Miss Queenie. Let me remind you of something. Let me remind you. I just want to remind you of something. I want to remind you of something real quick. $1.7 billion slush fund for these guys.
Multiple capital injuries. Multiple capital injuries.
$1.7 billion with a big dollar reparation to cop killers, because that's what happened. $1.7 billion to domestic terrorists, because that's what they are. $1.7 billion to thugs and criminals. This is what they are, right? To violent folk, hey, barn dog, to violent insurrectionists, all because the election did not go their way. They stormed the Capitol, as you can see. They were beating police officers over the head with poles, with their own batons. They were spraying tear gas in their faces. They were smashing them in doorways. They had bricks in their hands. But these are people that claim that they love the country. But if you love the country, you know that there is a peaceful transfer of power. But they want to give $1.7 billion to these violent thugs right here. They're dragging congressmen. This is a federal building, folks. And we also know that this was an inside job because they knew too many places of where to go. Beating folks. Spraying tear gas on folks. Stomping on people, dragging people, the police. But it's protect the blue though, right? Stop the steal, but in reality, they're the ones that stole the vote. And we're going to get into that. I've been telling folks. That was a hockey stick you guys just saw. And they want taxpayers to pay $1.7 billion, but yet we still have hungry veterans and kids and elderly out here. We have rundown schools. We have teachers who need to be paid more. Okay. We have streets and neighborhoods that need to be cleaned properly. We have a food shortage. We have folks who can't even afford food because they ripped away the SNAP benefits that actually should be allotted to these folks. Remember, they put their feet up on Nancy Pelosi's desk and they were smearing feces and urinating through the hallways. And they want to call Black people monsters? I think not. There is no way in hell that you can say that you believe in democracy, but when you don't win, this is how you act. And I do believe we will see a second riot again. I do believe so. Because they're going to get mollywopped so bad. They blatantly violated the Constitution to overthrow the government. There is an Insurrection Act that is in the Constitution. These folks are supposed to be jailed. Donald Trump and his administration was supposed to be jailed. Clarence Thomas' wife, the Supreme Court Justice, the coon, actually helped do logistical work for buses to bus these folks in. Justice Alito, his wife had a flag hanging outside of their home with the American flag flown upside down. Okay? These are the same people who have given a pathway for Donald Trump to have full immunity, which is why he is doing what he's doing. But the tides are turning faster than what he thinks, because the same way it was given to him is the same way that it can be taken away. Okay. Because now he's sitting here talking about the reason why he's giving this slush fund and why he is because he believes loyalty over violence, pretty much. Just look at him. He's just so sickening. But listen to him.
Mr. President, the Justice Department has this new fund that was announced today,
And I want to stop and say something. And this is going to ruffle feathers, what I'm going to say before I hit play. Oh, this is going to ruffle some feathers, and I don't care. So if you look all the way furthest to the right, in the right corner over there, he's kind of trying to sway out of the view of the camera. That is Mark Cuban. Mark Cuban, who has called Trump every name in the book. Mark Cuban, who was on the campaign trail for Kamala Harris. Mark Cuban, who is a billionaire, the owner of the Dallas Mavericks, the one who is on, Lord, it's my favorite show and I can't think of it off the top of my head. But anyway, that is Mark Cuban, guys. And I am going to say this, and I know people are going to feel a type of way, but when white men, always white men. And if you get it, you get it. But white men are going to always white men. Okay? Anyway.
$7 billion.
Yeah.
Why should taxpayers pay for the January?
Well, it's been very well received. I have to tell you, I know very little about it. I wasn't.
He says it's been very well received and he knows very little about it. We know that he's lying. The same way he said he didn't know anything about Project 2025, but everybody pretty much predominantly who is in his cabinet or his circle of advisors are the authors of Project 2025. Please spare us. Please spare us. We're not going. The jig is up.
Involved in the whole creation of it and the negotiation. But this is reimbursing people that were horribly treated, horribly treated. It's anti-weaponization. They've been weaponized. They've been, in some cases, imprisoned wrongly. They paid legal fees that they didn't have. They've gone bankrupt. Their lives have been destroyed. And they turn out to be right. I mean, it was a terrible period of time in the history of our country. And they worked on it. I know the Justice Department, it's really been working on it very hard. There's been numerous other occasions over the years where things like this have been done, but these were people that were weaponized and really treated brutally by a system that was so corrupt.
People that were weaponized and really treated brutally when we just show what happened. Mind you, these are also the same people who are getting locked up at large for pedophilic behavior, for domestic violence, terroristic threats, all of these things. These are not good people. These are not good people. He's talking about they've been treated unfair, but here's what he has to understand. Those people is the population of the United States of America, they're like a small circle now because MAGA has really and truly left the building. They have left the building because they can't even afford to drive to the voting polls to go vote. Thanks to you. Yes.
With corrupt people running it, and they're getting reimbursed for their legal fees and the other things that they had to suffer.
The other things that they had to suffer. Other things that they, good morning, I'm no joke. Other things that they had to suffer. But last time I checked, we're still waiting on our 40 acres and a mule. Because if you want to talk about suffering, and yes, I'm about to go there. So buckle up, buttercups. Yes, I'm about to take it there. You want to talk about suffering. Let's talk about suffering when we had 20 to 50 pound chains, not only on our hands, but on our feet, chained to other bodies in the bottom of a boat where we had to travel for days, weeks, months by water, not being fed properly, diseases running rampant. We get here and there is books about it because they even wrote about this bullshit. Okay. These racist bigots, these slave owners wrote about it. They ate our skin. Christopher Columbus wrote about how he ate Black and Indian babies. Okay. They used to take the skin off of our backs once they burned us and made leather boots. Okay, they would take the teeth out of dead slaves to give them teeth. Okay, and they want us to celebrate Christopher Columbus. Oh, please. So all of this cannibalism, pedophilic behavior has always been who they were. We were not a violent culture. You go anywhere else in these cultures, and we're talking about Hispanic cultures, Native American cultures, African cultures. You go there, it wasn't about violence. It was about coexisting. Violence didn't come until we got over here, where we were hanging with chains up here by a tree, and they were whipping us on our backs, and they were lynching us in public. They were raping the slaves, not only because they were having their way with them and that they're sick, but we also know that they have this sick fetish for Black women, and they needed to produce more slaves. and then would sell those kids off because they were youthful and strong. And don't let a child have been born disabled. They were killing those children. And they want to say, we're the savages, we're the monsters. Last time I checked, ain't nobody in my bloodline have eaten people. No one in my bloodline has skinned someone to make a leather boot, a purse, a hat, or anything of that nature. So where are our 40 acres and a mule? And this is also why I don't have sympathy. Hey, Buddha Bill. This is also why I don't have sympathy for Thomas Massey, who lost his primary last night. He's no hero. He's no hero. And we'll get to him in a second. But they are about to give these folk, these violent criminals, access to taxpayer dollar. And not only are they going to give them access to this money, right? Not only are they doing that, but also guys, Donald Trump has now had his DOJ department write up that he never has to be audited in taxes. What the fuck is going on? No, seriously, what is really going on? Like this, my God, today. I want you to listen to this crazy freak. Oh, the volume's not on here. I don't know why the volume's not on here. I don't know why the volume is not playing on here, but anyway, pretty much he gets no audits on him, his kids. Okay, no audits on him, his kids. No future audits on him, his kids, his businesses, pretty much anybody around him. Because we know the audit is what brought out in the campaign the Stormy Daniels, all of these things, that he's not paying taxes, that he's been lying on his taxes, all of these different things. Okay. So now the DOJ has wrote a thing to the IRS, and they're also no longer going to hold him in contempt of the money that he was supposed to pay the IRS either. Correct. They're also they're using certain banks to look at people's citizenship status. Okay. These are the things that are going on, and these are the things that people are really, really not talking about, because I have to say this to you. While they're doing that, see, everybody like to say, oh, they're just trying to distract us. No. They don't care about distracting us, because they're operating 2 and 3 things at the same time. Because I'm going to tell you what else they're after. The reason why they're trying to redistrict so hard, because they're not the majority. They're not the majority. Okay, let's just clear that out. They're not the majority. But another reason why they're trying to redistrict so bad, they're going after the 14th Amendment. They are going after the 14th Amendment. And the 14th Amendment basically declares who is a citizen and who is not. And if they can roll back that 14th Amendment, You, my child, your child or children, our siblings, our parents, our cousins, our neighbors will lose our citizenship like that. And it will give them the right to institutionalize us and eradicate, yes, all of us, and eradicate us from being a complete citizen in the United States of America. And they will also use us for working labor, and that is a more politically correct term for slavery. We will no longer be able to make money, get an education. They will erase us out of history books and or deport us to other countries that we've never been to or actually from, and sell us off to them for they to have labor. Why do you think they had that big detention center? They were sending all of them folks to Argentina, which is one of the worst prisons that ever is. Yeah. They was getting money. They was getting money. It's all about the money. You got to follow the money. Because if you follow the money is what's going to tell you where it's going. Okay? The money is always going to tell you who's doing what, where. Okay? The same way all of these detention centers that are popping up or attempting to pop up. I just want y'all to
former
hear
military analyst.
This is about it's almost 3 minutes. But this lady right here has tracked down where the money for these detention centers, because people are going to say, and I'm going to give you guys some information. People are going to say, well, Obama deported the most people. Yes, he did, but he did it correctly. 92% of the people, 92+% of the people that Barack Obama deported were actual criminals. Only 2 to 3% of folks that are being detained and being deported are actual criminals from the Trump administration. There's the difference. It's never about criminals, because if it was about criminals, them January 6 rioters, thugs, murderers, domestic terrorists would be in jail, would be deported themselves, right? It's never about that. It's okay for who they say it's okay to act like monsters and animals. Always remember that. Remember what I said earlier, white men are always going to white men.
When DHS bought up warehouses to turn into ICE detention centers, I noticed something weird. Many of these warehouses had been sitting on the market for years, and now DHS was buying them at a massive markup. Like this warehouse in Socorro, Texas, that sold for 1,000% above its recent valuation.
Kristi Noem once championed this program, but now that she's out, the DHS Inspector General just launched an investigation into these warehouses.
To understand what was happening, I reached out to Michael Riston, a former military analyst who has been tracking ICE warehouses on his site, Project Saltbox.
ICE doesn't necessarily want to be using warehouses. The plan came from folks very close to the White House who were sitting on properties that were causing them losses every year. And the decision was to buy them at taxpayer expense.
So let's take a look at 3 ICE warehouse sales that have used your money to make people in Trump's orbit even richer. First up, Goldman Sachs. It was the majority owner of this warehouse in Roxbury, New Jersey, that ICE purchased for nearly $130 million. That's 137% over a previous valuation in 2025. For years, Goldman Sachs executives have had close ties to Trump, like Steven Mnuchin, who served as Trump's Treasury Secretary in his first term. Next up, Blue Owl. You may not know this private capital company, but honestly, you should. 35 members of Trump's administration reported investments in Blue Owl funds. Even Trump himself has over $5 million invested in Blue Owl, which has also been a major funder of data centers across the country. So maybe it's not a huge surprise that Blue Owl was paid about double the market valuation of a warehouse it owned in Tremont, Pennsylvania. And then there's Deutsche Bank. Through a series of subsidiaries, Deutsche Bank owned a warehouse in Salt Lake City that ICE is now planning to turn into a facility with about 10,000 beds. With their DHS markup, Deutsche Bank essentially pocketed nearly 50 million more taxpayer dollars than if they had sold at market value. Deutsche Bank has loaned Trump about $2.5 billion over the past 2 decades and had 40 different accounts with none other than Jeffrey Epstein. Even though these warehouses haven't been converted yet, Wall Street institutions have already cashed in. And the reality is that other Trump-connected contractors are already profiting off of ICE detention facilities with inhumane conditions.
What we're seeing happen now, I never in a million years envisioned seeing this happen on U.S. soil. Never once.
The nearly $1 billion spent on warehouse purchases is just a fraction of the $38 billion that DHS has to build out a mass detention system that could hold nearly 100,000 people. So it looks like there's a lot more of your taxpayer money to go around.
Like I said, follow the money. This was all by design. It was all about money. The more bodies, the more money. The same way the privatization of prisons, the more bodies, the more money, because they can use that as labor. Oh, thank you so much, Reed. I appreciate you. It's always about the money, and don't forget it. And that's why it is important and imperative for us as Black families with Black children. We have to educate them and get them to a place to understand emotional intelligence is important, because they're ready to lock your ass up. They're ready to lock your ass up and put you to work. I don't know if you guys have been following that Fulio trial, but all of those Black boys were sentenced to life in prison for killing that rapper, right? And so when they were having the warden testify, the warden said, please don't sentence him to death, because we could use him for sweat labor. This is what they think about us. Sweat labor. This is what they want to do, because there's also a decline in inmates as well. They're not going to tell you that. There's also a decline as well. So I can go on and on about that, but we don't even have enough time in the day. So yeah, it's always follow the money. It's always follow the money. And it's funny that they talk about following the money. We have Jeff Bezos, the one who's sponsoring some of these things, having a different opinion about the working class now. And remember when I keep telling you guys that racism is really expensive? Racism is really expensive, because what happens is it starts to affect their bottom line. And what these business owners, and it may not seem like it right now, but I'm telling you guys, they are starting to distance themselves. And what they've been investigating, these private companies, right, are still implementing their DEI things, because they know that Donald Trump is a losing ticket. They know he's a losing ticket. So they are trying to back away from this man as much as possible, because we already know that the things that are Jeff Bezos about to say, Donald Trump don't think that, nor does the authors of Project 2025 think it either. But let's just take a look. I wonder if it's the backlash because nobody wanted him on the green carpet at the Met Gala, where his washed up, stitched up, sewed up, nipped and tucked new wife, kind of waltz up there, and everybody ignored her because we know that Beyonce and Rihanna and ASAP Rocky and Jay-Z and Blue Ivy were the show, right? Like nobody cared about anybody else being there, along with a couple of other people that I really enjoyed seeing there. But Bezos' plastic wife can't even hold a candlestick to his ex-wife, okay, who is living the best life possible, okay, off of Amazon money because she built that company. Okay. But anywho, take a look at this, guys.
We'll talk about, making the tax system more progressive. How about we start by having the nurse in Queens not pay taxes? Why is somebody at all? Why is a nurse in Queens who makes $75,000 a year paying more than $1,000 a month in taxes? That's $1,000 a month that could help with rent or groceries or anything.
And is it me, or does Jeff Bezos look unrecognizable? And I believe some of that might be on purpose, so he can kind of float around and nobody heckle him and throw things at him and things like that. But he does look unrecognizable. Youth has left him, See, this is what happens when you hit your wagon to the devil. He sucks the life out of you. Okay. I don't know whether he doesn't have a happy home. I don't know what it is. We do know that one of the plants got destroyed overseas that held one of the clouds. It's like a data center for Amazon overseas. Iran took care of that. Okay. So I don't know if he's worried about that. I don't know if he doesn't see the sharp decline in Amazon. I don't know if he sees that. I don't know if it's a lot of employees that are upset, and Amazon is now experiencing a shortage of employees. I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if because he is tired of seeing his face on the sides of buildings where they're talking about his dirty deeds, you know what I'm saying, on the outside of the hotel that he's staying in. I don't know if no longer he can sit with some of the celebrity friends that he used to sit with because who he's aligned himself with, and now he's in isolation. Because please don't get it twisted. If you think that those folks that are running with Donald Trump are living a gleeful life, they're not. Because if they were living a gleeful life, they would not have to be living on military bases. Carry on.
And so, and by the way, do you know what that all adds up to? The bottom half of income earners in this country pay only 3% of the taxes. It's only 3%. We can find 3%. So we don't have, it's a small amount of money for the government, that. And really, the more I thought about it, to me, it's kind of absurd that we're doing this. We shouldn't be asking this nurse in Queens to send money to Washington. They should be sending her to. We'll talk about, making the. It's only 3%. We can find 3%. So we don't have. It's a small amount of money for the government, that. And really, the more I thought about it, to me, it's kind of absurd that we're doing this. We shouldn't be asking this nurse in Queens to send money to.
We shouldn't be asking the nurse in Queens to be sending money to Washington. We can find that 3% somewhere else. That I agree with, right? I agree wholeheartedly with that, right? But I wonder the real motive behind this message, because the devil is always in the details here. There is a shift happening. Mark my words. There is a shift that is happening. And you see, this is not the same messaging, okay, of the current administration who he's sown money into. But see, they've sown money into it and they have yet to get a return on an investment. Okay. If you see he's no longer invited to certain cookouts anymore because you are toxic, Jeff Bezos, you're going to see the same thing that happened with Mark Zuckerberg and his wife. His wife had created a foundation that she's no longer really doing work for. She has adopted the MAGA sycophant and their taglines now. When, mind you, she's an immigrant her damn self. She's an Asian woman who happened to benefit off of DEI and affirmative action, but I ain't gonna go there. Because if you really and truly get down to the numbers of the thing, the folks that benefit off of affirmative action and off of DEI was white women. Wasn't us. Wasn't us. They love our labor, but they hate our leadership. But that's just another different topic for the day. Jeff Bezos looks crazy. He looks a mess. He looks tired. He looks like he doesn't get sleep at night because the devil is always tapping him on his forehead. And this is why you don't dance with the devil. Because when you dance with the devil is always going to want its day. And you're going to end up looking like this. Okay? He looked like somebody's thumb. Okay? He looked like somebody's unmanicured thumb right now. He really does. He absolutely does. He doesn't look like he's in shape. Doesn't look like anything. Okay? He looks a whole mess. The devil has taken over. Has definitely taken over. But I wonder what he's going to say. And why we got that going on? Did y'all hear Donald Trump talking about he could become the prime minister of Iran? I mean, Israel, sorry. The prime minister of Israel. What the fuck? Like, do y'all ever get tired of every day? We be like, what the fuck is he talking about? What is he talking about today? He says he's got a 98 approval. Yes, he did. Listen, just listen, girl. I ain't even listen because they're going to swear I'm lying. Look.
I'm right now at 99% in Israel. I could run for prime minister. So maybe after I do this, I'll go to Israel, run for prime minister. I had a poll this morning. I'm 99%. So that's good. But
I went to a poll. They ran a poll this morning. I'm 99%. Like a kid. I'm 99%. And maybe after I do this, I'll go over there and be the prime minister of Israel. The only reason why you would go over there and be the prime minister of Israel is because so they don't jail your buddy Bibi Netanyahu. But this is also a man that knows he's not going to win. But why on God's green earth early in the morning is he talking about this? When you've got a country that is literally on fire. And he says he could be the prime minister of Israel after this. Y'all, we cannot make this up. Listen. We can't make this up. Right? We can't make this up. Meanwhile, we have Ebola outbreaks everywhere. We have Ebola outbreaks, hey, the queen for you. We've got Ebola outbreaks everywhere. And we have none other than Elon, the dirty Musk, bragging about it. Ebola on fire and spreading rapidly, okay? And this is what this crazy man, who is always also high on ketamine and who has about 20 kids and 17 baby mamas. But these are people that are so Bible toting and so, about the family. But he be having kids on top of kids and they be 3 weeks apart. Ciao, bye.
So for example, with USAID, One of the things we accidentally canceled very briefly.
One of the things we accidentally canceled. First of all, can we really even understand what he's really saying? You know, because first of all, I'm saying during the USID, what we accidentally canceled. What? So now they're saying the quiet part out loud that they canceled USID, and we told them that this was going to happen. They canceled USID, and now because of the things that USID does, the relief that it provides, and it has been dismantled, every disease is on the rampage.
It was Ebola prevention. I think we all want Ebola prevention. So we restored the Ebola prevention immediately, and there was no interruption. But we do need to move quickly if we're to achieve a $1 trillion deficit reduction in financial year 2026. It requires, so for example,
Y'all. This is the same person. The same person whose kid told us this.
Should we help President Trump?
Yeah.
Well,
you have. Yeah. We're in SpaceX and quietly just do whatever we want.
What's your assessment? Did this work? Is he going to win?
Yeah, it is. Not for now. No.
Y'all know what this baby is doing. This baby is repeating everything that he heard. And remember, this is the son that Elon Musk was using as a shield because people were wanting to blow his top back. So he was using this child as a shield, right? And because he was using this child as a shield, this little boy heard everything his daddy was talking about because he was everywhere with his daddy, because his daddy was using him as a human shield, which I think is disgusting because we no longer see him with the child no more. But he was using him as a human shield, and the little boy was telling us in real time what he was hearing. That he was going to use the satellites to make Donald Trump win. Y'all know kids are like sponges, especially that age. They hear everything and they're going to repeat everything. They're going to go to school and be like, Mommy and Daddy was saying F you, you SOB. Mommy and Daddy said that you're not cute and they don't like you. Mommy and Daddy was over there talking about our light's going to be out tomorrow. Mommy and Daddy told me that I could play hooky from school. Mommy and Daddy told me they was going to whoop your ass. You know that's what kids do.
I think it's done.
You think it's done?
Yeah.
But never know.
They'll never know. And this is why a forensic investigation should have been called for during the election. And I do believe this is why the DNC refuses to release that pretty much autopsy of what happened, because it's going to show, and what it's going to show is that there was enough votes that were shaved off that would not trigger a recount. She won on paper, but he had his satellites to tap down into those what's the name states, to make sure that they had just enough skimmed off the top that wouldn't be so alarming. But he won every swing state, and that has never been done. And the election has never been called that fast in the history of us having a democracy. But this little boy, X, that's his name, is telling you what happened.
I'm looking at the data as it comes in from every county in Pennsylvania.
Oh, he can tell us.
You understand? These kids tell everything. These kids tell everything. And you know who else tells everything? I need y'all to lean in, okay? I need y'all to lean in. Y'all know who else tell everything? Ain't nothing like a bitter baby mama. Ain't nothing like a bitter baby mama watching they rich ass baby daddy not pay attention to them or the child, not finance them in the way that they feel like that it should be. There's nothing like a bitter baby mama. And guess what happens when you have a bitter baby mama? Because they love to say that Black folks are the only people that have baby mama, baby daddy problem. Not so fast. Oh, let's take a look. Baby, y'all better get this. Y'all better get this. Y'all better get this popcorn ready because this is hot piping. Baby, listen to her.
My skin, so we're going to put it on my hands today because I am working on taking feedback and adjusting my behavior. There is again a lot of discourse around, we shouldn't rebrand Ashley, she was involved in all this harm, and I was. And something that's very important for me to address is that these things happen to me, and I've said this many times before. The cruelty is happening to me because I ignored the cruelty and the pleas of others. There were many people, especially women, who spoke about the issues of single motherhood, of being involved in the court system, of being involved with powerful men, of being involved with men who have outsized influence and power that I ignored. I ignored these people. Not only did I ignore them, but I talked shit about them. I used their experiences as a political talking point, as a political counter, and to my own detriment. Okay.
Again, did you hear what she said? Single women and then single mothers were trying to tell her he ain't the one, sis. Because he got 12 other babies and baby mamas that he ain't dealing with, he mistreating, and he ain't taking care of. One of them, he went in front of their house and put the Tesla up on a thing and rode off on the sunset. How's she supposed to take that kid around? Okay, I digress.
Great book I recommend is Hood Feminism, which I will get to that and some of my other deconstruction and what led up to that later, but this is all tangentially related. So I know I'm going to be jumping around in the timeline a little bit, but I'm processing everything and talking about it in chunks. That's just easier for me. So the year is 2024. I'm pregnant. I get pregnant in January of 2024. And I start gaining weight because that's what happens. And so immediately there are a lot of people speculating that I have a child with Elon because he is the most prominent person publicly associated with me at this point, and he has a harem. So Elon has never explicitly said or even really implied that this needs to be a secret, but I just am because I don't want to deal with it. That's a lot. But there are a lot of people speculating. There are a few people in my life who are aware. However, I made a very big mistake in telling one woman who is referred to in other videos, especially my Real Housewives of Mar-a-Lago series, as Ozempic, because Ozempic uses this thing that is private and I want to keep under wraps as a means to social climb and for her to be like, oh, I know one of Elon Musk's baby mamas. And suddenly there's just many people who the only common denominator is this girl.
Okay, get on with it, girl.
We will get to that more in depth when we talk about how this all came out in the public sphere. But what I want to focus on is the election. Okay, because this was the first time in my life, and I know I was publicly tweeting about MAGA and elections and Trump, but this was the first time that I felt like my actions had consequences. And I know that sounds insane, but I was very divorced from the reality and the consequences or
you don't say
of any of my rhetoric or MAGA influencing until we started getting closer to the election. I had never really, I just didn't think my words and my involvement or any of my actions had any sort of like real influence outside of meme tweets. So Elon uses Trump's assassination attempt in Butler to say that this is the catalyst for him supporting Trump, even though he was already supporting Trump and working on his America PAC, yada, yada. Now, in September, I put a dark black MAGA hat on Elon's head while he was at my house. This MAGA hat would become very well known and known as dark MAGA, okay? I regret to inform everyone that I am responsible for dark MAGA and the cringe that ensued thereafter. Elon is meeting up with like friends, mutual friends we have, and he's like, oh yeah, Ashley gave me this out, whatever. And then he does this whole dark MAGA thing on stage with Trump very publicly. And so simultaneously, there are a few things going on. I have this big, gigantic secret that I am having a child with the richest man in the world, and he is all over the news. And there is something just inherently dirty about keeping a secret, even if it's not anything wrong. And I'm not, there's just something that is psychologically fracturing about keeping a secret. Okay, and so now I am being reminded of this secret every time I open my phone or I turn on the TV. And not only that, but now he's jumping around on stage with this gift I gave him. And I like genuinely do not even know how to explain like psychologically what this felt like. And he wanted me to see this because then he's sending me the tweets that are like, Elon wears a dark MAGA hat. Like he's sending me these posts to show me like, look, I'm wearing the thing you gave me. So at this point, I'm like, I'm starting to realize that my actions now have like national and global impact, because it wasn't just this dark MAGA hat. This dark is a vendor that hires Craigslist crackheads for door knocking, and I wish I was exaggerating there, but I'm not. He keeps going and he says, you know, this is not a piece that they'll see on the chessboard. And I'm to realize that my actions now have like national and global impact, because it wasn't just this dark MAGA hat. This dark MAGA hat was an item that was for astronomically. And so at this point, I'm like, oh my God, I am responsible for raising a whole lot of money for the Trump campaign. And prior to this, like the only thing I'm doing is like tweeting. So I didn't have any large impact. And so this started to, like, I'm publicly supporting Trump, but then I'm like privately grappling with this situation, and I'm just really, really uncomfortable. And then October rolls around. And in October, Elon tells me that he is ready to release his, in his words, anomaly in the Matrix. And I am like, oh, like, who's that? And he says that he has 10,000 lasers in space, referring to his satellites. I say, because I am like rather uncomfortable and I know the gravity of what he's trying to tell me right now, I say, wow, finally a focus on the Jewish vote. He keeps going and he says, you know, this is not a piece that they'll see on the chessboard. And I straight up tell him, I say, I would ask more, but I really don't want to be deposed. To which he says, very wise.
Too late. She's
shortly after that, you know, he's involved with America PAC and all of this other stuff, and he's sending me some internal data from America PAC, real-time Delta vote metrics. And I am just like, how the fuck do you have this sort of data? You don't get this from door knocking, because that was one of my first jobs in politics was in campaigns and cleaning up this bad data from door knocking, because the vendors that America PAC is using at this point is a vendor that hires Craigslist crackheads for door knocking. And I wish I was exaggerating there, but I'm not. I know, like, I have caused harm with my rhetoric. However, I never like sought out to cause harm. Like, there were parts of me that really wanted like the best for the country, for America, for democracy. And one thing is, I have always hated big tech. So then to have
We had a baby by a big tech guy. Anyway,
arguably the most powerful man in the world, who is sending me things about, you know, using his space technology in the election. I should also say that I have all of this backed up with many people with explicit instructions should anything happen to me, okay? But this was something that I was internally wrestling with, while publicly not really showing that I was having any of these internal ethical conflicts with myself regarding this information. And then on election night itself, Elon, you know, left Mar-a-Lago early. I was at Mar-a-Lago, and he told me over text, he's like, yeah, I knew hours ago that Trump won. My team has the best real-time data anywhere. First of all, how the fuck do you have real-time data on elections? How do you have real-time data? I could not understand that. I don't know that I ever will. I saw some shit, guys. Like, I saw some shit, and I'm fighting really hard to keep my voice, because I saw shit that impacts everyone. And if
so what we are witnessing right now is the fracture of MAGA. Sorry, guys. So what we are witnessing is folks who helped usher in and lie and all of these cover-ups, who sold their soul to the devil, now have restless souls. They now have restless souls. And now she is regretting probably having a child with this man and knowing all the information that she knows, because her life has drastically changed. She's also trying to rebrand. And we see this happen over and over and over again, because Marjorie Taylor Greene is trying to do it. Nick Fuentes is trying to do it. Candace Owens is trying to do it. We've got a lot of people that are trying to do it. And here's the thing about me. We're not going to forget how you guys ushered this man in. Okay? You guys ushered this man in. This is another bitter baby mama moment. You're bitter while holding secrets, so now you're unleashing the clip. You're letting the clip fly, as they like to say. You're letting the clip fly. But I could have told you guys that I knew that they had cheated, that I knew that all of this was a lie. I knew it. Anybody who has been in politics and knows politics really well, we knew that they had cheated. And the more and more is going to start to come out, and what's going to happen, those Supreme Court justices that got appointed under this administration will be impeached. These folks, this thing is worse than Watergate. And what is also going to happen is they're going to have to give DC their statehood so that they can file state charges on every last one of them. Or better yet, New York. Letitia James could do it. I have very good faith in her. Because of the irreparable harm. This man is going around talking about if anybody in ICE is indicted, he is going to release ICE into that city. He is. That's what he said. So this is what we are seeing in real time. But see, Black folk are getting tired. We are getting tired. People in general are getting tired. And I'm going to give you some examples. Hey, Don Diva, I'm going to give you some examples of how folks are getting tired and are now using their voice and they're eviscerating. When I say eviscerating these politicians, and also putting out action plans, call to action. So first things first. I want y'all to see this. Y'all know what happened in San Diego, right? That mass killing at a mosque happened in San Diego. I want you to hear the disgust in this woman's voice and how the mayor, who is a Trump lover, was almost brought to tears because we know that they're spineless. But just listen, people are so tired.
Thank you.
Fucking direct result of your leadership! Your leadership! Our Muslim brothers and sisters have been talking to you for how long? You have to fucking listen to them, Todd. Just like you did tonight. It was golden science, golden science propaganda, and you'll keep doing it as long as it lines your fucking pockets, won't it? Show something. Worst approval rating than a fascist dictator with shit in his pants.
And that's how you clear a bitch, okay? Worse than a fascist dictator with shit in his pants. That's how you clear a bitch. And you want to know else how you clear a bitch here? Since we're on a clear a bitch rampage, let me show y'all another something. And this is about a 2-minute video. But baby, when I tell you it's worth everything of everything of everything, oh, baby, I got my life. But she was speaking facts. Folks are tired, okay? Folks are tired. Hey, Angela White. I want you guys to watch this. I watched this with so much enjoyment. I watched this with a smile on my face. Hey, Glow Glow. I watched this with laughter and joy in my heart. I watched this gleefully and kikied and probably watched it about 1,100 times. Okay? And if this is your first time seeing it, we're going to play it twice. But check this out right here.
Mr. Nigga right here. Yeah, that's your ass.
So you don't want like saying the N-word, right? You gonna call it N-word today? I bet you won't call it in front of a black man like that.
I bet you won't call me no nigga.
Let me help you. You call a black woman N-word, call me that.
No, call me that.
I dare you to do it. I swear for God, I'll make you taste the ancestors.
Me too.
You a coward. Call that black woman the N-word. You a real coward, man. We'll catch you inside.
Now, go ahead.
Go right ahead. I guarantee you wouldn't do it in front of me.
Come on.
I know. In fact, I know you won't. Say the N-word in front of me.
Come on. Go on in there.
And I'll give you a taste of everything for the ancestors. Say it. Say it in front of me. I dare you to say it. It's Quanell X, but you'll learn it real well today.
Yeah.
Say it. I bet you won't say N-word in my face. See, you talk to black women like that by themselves. You intimidate black women by themselves. But a black man, you won't open your goddamn mouth. I dare you to say it.
That hearing aid.
I dare you to say it.
That hearing aid. That hearing aid in shit. Get your old ass in there. Run around with your bald head ass, you little spike little face looking bitch. I ain't playing with you. Hey, Broadway, look here, tell Judge Bradshaw, we're not bringing him into that courtroom, okay? All right.
Then she went and told the bailiff and tell Judge Bradshaw, we not bringing this in the courtroom, okay? Baby, let me tell you something. Okay, let me tell y'all how much I have enjoyed this right here. Okay, he said, I'll make you taste the ancestors. Do you know how hard somebody gotta slap? How many centuries they gotta slap you back? Like that slap that's more than a slap her around the world, baby. That he gonna knock both of them. If you looked at the man, look at the man. The man had 2 hearing aids, not one. He had 2 of them bad boys. Look at him back there. 2 of them bad boys. Okay. He had 2. She said with them hearing aids. Okay. I said that's the first thing I saw. He over here quick to call somebody a nigga, but can't even hear right. How you quick to use some slanderous words when you can't even hear slanderous words? Like, help me, somebody. Help me understand. Like, how are y'all even pulling this off? He and there, you too old to be talking like this, because we know if you kick away the cane a little bit, he gonna fall on his face. Because look at him. He was coming down the hall. When he entered the building, he got a cane, ladies and gentlemen. He got a cane. He got a cane with a seersucker suit. A cane with a seersucker suit and 2 hearing aids. Brother, you already start. Whitey, you already starting off on the wrong foot. You already starting off on the wrong foot. Look at the pilgrim, y'all. Look at the pilgrim. The pilgrim is starting off on the wrong foot. He got a cane. He got the gangster lean. He's sliding them feet in. He can't even pick him up and say hut 1, 2. He going shoo, shoo, and then he dragging, and all you hear is shoo, shoo, do, shoo. Because you know he got to put the cane in front of him to then slide his feet to catch up to the cane. Child, please, but they want to have the nerve to call a black woman a nigga, and you can barely hear the words that are properly coming out of somebody's mouth. You probably can barely even hear yourself accurately. Okay, so really, we really need to find out, was he really saying nigga? He was trying to say something else, but his hearing aid, because his hearing is so piss poor that it's affected his speech, and now he has a speech impediment, because we know he got a walking impediment. Please. Are these people okay? Okay. Are these people okay, baby? Okay, listen, I gotta play it again.
This the nigga right here. Yeah, that's your ass.
So you don't want like saying everyone, right?
Like call people niggas.
You gonna call him for today? I bet you.
And he going bald, y'all. And he going bald at the time. And he got a bald. He got a little slick over. He trying to, you know how girls with no edges be trying to hide when they don't have edges, so they get a bang to try to cover them up. He got a slick back to hold to cover the bald spot. So instead of a bang, he got a back. He's got a back instead of a bang. He got a bang. Okay. See, this is what the problem. And if you look right here, it look like his suit is split and open just a little bit, because right in the middle is the thread is a little bit white. Okay, it's not a correct pleat. He's busting out the seams. Okay, he's ill-fitted for the position. He's ill-fitted for the job. This is the lawyer. You're ill-fitted to be in anywhere. You need to retire, sir, and go underground, and not the Underground Railroad with Harriet Tubman, because that's where he about to slap you back to. Okay. Anyway,
I bet you won't call in front of a black man like that.
I bet you won't call me.
Let me help you. You call a black woman in word, call me that.
No, call me.
I dare you to do it. And I swear for God, I'll make you taste the answer.
I swear for God. You know, when a black person say I swear for God, they mad. Okay, they mad when they say I swear for God. Baby, when they say I swear for God, they big mad, because I know when I get to saying I swear for God, that means Jesus is not here right now. Jesus is not, the Jesus in me is not about to come out of me. Okay, I'm about to say, Jesus, I need you to put this one right here to the side. Okay, because I have decided to take things in my own hands. Okay, this is what happens. And see, when you push us to this point, we get to slapping and stop dapping. Okay, we get to running up and gunning up when this starts to happen, and we're sick and tired of being sick and tired. So here we are. Okay. The Malcolm X in us have now emerged. We ready for whatever. Okay, because there's more of us than it is you. And he was scared anyway. He looking back, can somebody help me? Anyway, let me play it back. Sorry.
I bet you won't call me.
Let me help you. You call a black woman in word, call me that.
No, call me.
I dare you to do it. And I swear for God, I'll make you taste the ancestors.
Me too.
You a coward. Call that black woman the N-word. You a real coward, man. We'll catch you inside. Go right ahead. I guarantee you wouldn't do it in front of me.
Come on.
I know. In fact, I know you won't. Say the N-word in front of me.
Come on. Go on in there.
And I'll give you a taste of everything for the ancestors. Say it. Say it in front of me. I dare you to say it. It's Quanell X, but you'll learn it real well today.
Yeah.
Say it. I bet you won't say that word in my face. See, you talk to black women like that by themselves. You intimidate black women by themselves. But a black man, you won't open.
And y'all see that lady right there? She's a doctor. She don't play neither. Babe, I'm going to show y'all how she don't play. Because there's a housing projects that have been disenfranchising black folks, and she go up there and she chin check the property manager. My God, today. But anyway, let me finish playing this and I'll play that one for y'all.
In your goddamn mouth. I dare you to say it.
That hearing aid.
I dare you to say it.
That hearing aid is shit. Get your old ass down. Run around here with your bald head ass, you little spike little face looking bitch. That ain't playing with you.
Ain't nobody playing with you.
Broadway, look at Judge Bradshaw. We're not breaking into that courtroom, okay? All right.
Okay.
No, let's go inside.
Can we go in? Look at her. Her head off, everything. She's so messy. She's so messy, but she the right kind of messy, baby. Baby, she wore that man out. You hear me? She wore that man out. Like, for real, she wore that man out. I'm going to show y'all another incident of somebody else using the N-word and thinking that it's okay. Oh, she wears people out. I love her too. She is so funny. Somebody else, and they had the nerve to do this in Atlanta, the Mecca. Okay, watch this.
A nigger out of control.
Right, and I'm about to put you on Facebook. You on my car? You want to spit on my car? I don't give a fuck, bitch. You still going on Facebook? Get out the car. You want to go? Oh, look at this. MDU 7760. You don't have a license plate, you fucking dumb bitch. You want to spit on my car? I'm calling the cops on you, fucking retard.
We gotta have a nigger out of control, people.
Okay.
We gotta have a nigger out of control.
Right, and I'm about to put you on Facebook, you fucking red dick bitch. Exactly. You're mad because you almost hit my car. Fuck you. I'm not. Get out the car. Do you want me to beat your ass? You almost hit my car. Get out the car. Then shut up. You almost hit my car. Because you were backing in. What the fuck you tell me backing the fuck out? You fucking dumb bitch. I'm not gonna beat your ass when my son is right here. And I'm not gonna do shit to you, but I'm gonna call the cops on you. Get the fuck away. Yes, I am. But I am. I'm calling them right now, bitch. I'm calling them right now. I am. You sure do. And I'm calling the cops because you just assaulted my car.
You're lucky you're a female. I'll say that.
I'm not scared of you, bitch. I'll have somebody come up here and beat your ass. That's why you're doing this, because I'm a female. If I was a dude, you would not be doing nothing. I don't give a fuck about being fat, bitch. Fuck you and fuck her. I don't give a fuck. That's not hurting me, bitch. That's not hurting me. I don't give a look at it. Little dick bitch.
Child, these people crazy, and they think they won't get run up and done up. Like they just don't think that these things will happen to them. Give me just a second. I'm looking for. I think her name is Dr. Catherine. I think that's her name. Hold on. I meant they're getting bold. Yeah, they are. Oh, they are. They getting real bold. Okay, they're getting very bold. And they think ain't nobody going to say nothing to them, and they are finding out in real time. Ain't nobody scared. Ain't nobody scared, and we got something to say. And what we got to say, you're not gonna like, and we don't care how much you don't like it either. Like we don't care. We could give 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fucks. Okay, that's right. We are bolder. Okay, we are much bolder. All right, because we talking about being bold, right? I'm gonna leave this with y'all. I was trying to find where she was chin checking somebody else, but I want to leave this with y'all because they are putting this proposition out, and I don't know whether it's going to work or not, but it is definitely something to think about, especially with our Black athletes being such a majority in the sports industry, and especially in the South when it comes to football and basketball. For these colleges, we're making them hundreds of millions in dollars every year, and they're in these states that are ripping our rights away from us in real time. So this is what the NAACP is calling for. And remember, I said the NAACP got to get back active the way they used to be. And I think they heard my call. I don't know if somebody watched my show or the ancestors whispered something in their ear, but take a listen at this and tell me your thoughts.
This issue, given your unique personal journey and having been an athlete in the SEC and now.
Yeah, I think, first of all, we have to acknowledge the hypocrisy of these states that use Black bodies as economic engines on Saturdays, and on Sundays, they're taking away their votes of their Mimas, of their Big Mamas, of all their family members. So that part of it is real. That part of it we cannot deny. Also, at the same time, I think it's really rough to speak out to these 18-year-olds and ask them to make these decisions. When I was 18, I was 17 actually, to make the decision. I had studied so hard and so long to figure out what it was for me to get to Tennessee, and then not only that, but the main pipeline to get to the NFL. So my main mission at that age was trying to get to the NFL. I think it's really difficult. These are real issues that need to be addressed, but I think it's difficult for me to push on these 18-year-olds, these 19-year-olds to get them to make a decision of this magnitude at such a young age.
So what are y'all thoughts? Anybody have thoughts about this particularly? Sean, you still here? Sean, I don't know if you're still here in the clouds or not. What are some of y'all thoughts about whether y'all think the athlete should take a stand? Because we already know that movements really do start, they begin to explode with the youth. And I kind of feel divided about it because they're offering them money and opportunities that a lot of HBCUs just don't have the funding to do so, and we also know that a lot of these kids want to go off and play professionally. And a lot of HBCU athletes do not, because they just don't get the prime time. They don't get the notoriety. They don't get the training, things like that. They are overlooked. The talent is there, but a lot of kids have to leave at HBCU and go to a D1 to get the recognition to get drafted. But it is something to quite think about, because if they did it in masses, and my only thing of it is that they have to have the support of the viewer. We cannot still watch them while they decide to go other places. We have to support where they are going and show up in droves where they're going, and disconnect and discontinue our subscription to watching football, the SEC and things like that. We have to learn how to do that. So that's the only thing. I just don't want the kids to be left out on the limb without a true support system with them. So, that is that is my whole like thought behind that. And you know, it's just a thing to think about. It's really a thing. It's really a thing to think about. And Black alumni from these schools need to stop putting their dollars in there, stop donating to the boosters, stop showing up, stop wearing the paraphernalia, and start going to these Black schools and wearing their paraphernalia. Listen, I'm an Aggie all day, Aggie pride. North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. Okay, you can't tell me. One thing about an HBCU will birth something in you that a PWI never could. But it's just, you know, I'm on the fence about it. I'm really on the fence about it. And maybe the Black athletes need to start speaking out and saying, hey, I'm not going to make a commitment until you guys start doing something. Not saying I'm not going to go here, but let's table this first and let's talk about some politics. Maybe that's the way to go. I'm not quite sure how to, because they cannot, HBCUs also cannot offer them NIL packages the way that, you know, these PWI schools can. These kids are making money while in college and changing not only their lives, but their brothers and sisters, their parents, you know, and if they have children, if, you know, they had children young, they're able to provide stability for their children while they're away in college and going after their dreams. So it's really a difficult thing to kind of grapple with for certain or whatnot. And I just kind of wanted to leave you guys with that for sure, because we are, you know, we're in an interesting time and we're at a crossroads where we've got to figure it out. You know, we've got to figure it out. Like, we've got to figure out what is going to work for us. We've got to figure out, you know, what's going to work for us, what is going to actually be an actionable item that we can actually do. You know, and things like that. So it is, you know, it's just really something we have to think about. It really is. It's really something that we have to think about. It really is. And shout out to all of the voters that went out, that voted, because I'm seeing a lot of the numbers that are coming out, and people came out in droves last night. They did. And it just some updated news. Trump's ballroom has lost federal funding proposed by the Senate Republicans. So that's not going to happen. But I'm seeing that just the Democratic Party showing out and voting. They outvoted the Republican, what's the name? The Republican primary. So, you know, it is what it is. This is what we're dealing with. Be informed, be in the know, and know, you know, what's going on, for sure. And we will see you guys tomorrow. I was speaking as alum from these schools. I attended ACC school and had a great experience. I agree too. I think Black alumni should not focus. It should be a holistic. It should be a holistic game plan. We can't just pick at athletes. We can't just pick this. We've got to have a holistic view where it's movement in numbers. When they see numbers, which is why they're trying to gerrymander so bad, when they see numbers, they get scared. Because we outnumber them anyway. We can out-organize them anyway. We outsmart them anyway. We just have to get disciplined with it. and get the right people in office. Get the right people, not the ones that want to line their pockets up. No, the people that are for the people and are going to make changes. People like Mandami, he just cleared out the deficit. Governor Newsom just followed suit, cleared out that deficit. The governor here, Governor Stein, just put more money in the Medicaid system, and the Medicaid system for disabled folks in North Carolina is one of the best. And I'm going to tell you why. They have things set up for these children where it's not a lot of red tape anymore. And so when he did that, he made sure that those disabled children will not lose coverage. People who direly need Medicaid will not lose that coverage. So there are some good things going on by governors and mayors and things like that. But we as the people have got to do our research and get our asses up. Get our asses up and not just talk about it, but be about it. When it's time to vote, stand in the damn line. If you don't like lines, do early voting. Get you a strategy. Go to community activist events so you can be in the know, because they're trying to use every tool in the toolbox to trick us, because now Georgia no longer is going to tell you who's Republican or Democrat. They're just going to have the name. So you got to know who's who. Meaning they're going to have cards. I know for me, when I go vote, I always take, and this is a testament to the Democratic Party in North Carolina. They give you a voting card and it shows you who to vote for on every line, because you may not know who the person is that's over the trash, over the waste and pollution. You may not know who the person is that is over an urban developer or whatever, over urban planning. You may not know the person on the school board that you're voting for, but you have to. Yes, the recall lines was started by Black women the same way that they redistrict Virginia, and I think they've got like 2 more in the chamber. Virginia got 2 more in the chamber. Okay, but how they figured out that map was from one of the congresswoman's granddaughter who works for her. Black women always got the sauce, and we got to start showing up as such. We got to tap into our brilliancy again, and don't let the politics of whatever else is going out, the doom and gloom, make us water our own self down. It's okay to be loud. It's okay to be colorful. It's okay to be proud. Okay, it's okay to laugh. It's okay to be educated. It's okay to be stylish. Because they love to tell us we overdress. No, I'm dressed just the way that I want to be. I'm articulate because I'm articulate, not because I'm trying to talk like a white person. Okay, wear your big hair, your colorful hair, your braids down to the ground. Show up in all of your artsy, unique self. Appreciate your uniqueness, because no matter what they do, they cannot replicate or duplicate what we do. They can only try to mass produce it after we've put it out. So they're always behind. But anyway, let me get off of here. I will see you guys later. I love you guys. I will let you guys know when I put up my Amazon wish list, because I am building a legal library for myself. And I know a couple of people have sent me messages like, we know that you're, on the road to taking the LSAT, on the road to becoming a lawyer. How can we help? And this is one of the projects that I'm working on that I would love you guys, if you can't, that's understandable. I tell people all the time, buy me coffee. Or now in this case, it's going to be buy me a book. So I will, once I compile that entire list, I will share that with folks so that you can purchase a book, or you can send me a super chat or a cash app towards the book or something like that. All of that is accepted and appreciated. I thank you guys for always showing up and coming and visiting, whether you drop down, you're in the clouds, you catch the replay, you share, you like and subscribe. I appreciate it all. Thank you for coming to Politics in Plain English, where we talk current events, we break it down, talk about what's going on, why it's going on, and what it means for you. But until next time.